All right. The next episode of Bringing It to the Table.
To the table, y'all.
Thank y'all for being here with us tonight.
And I'm back again.
Yeah, of course, like I told y'all gonna see him on here with me majority of the time anyway, okay? So, again, thank you for joining us for this episode of Bringing It to the Table, where we bring issues that most people just don't really necessarily want to talk about. They don't necessarily want to say or ask a question or bring up a topic of conversation because it's kind of difficult. And, hence us having those type of conversations will help you be able to bring those conversations or those topics to the table in your relationship, in your marriage, in your friendship. So that's why we do bring it to the table.
And truth be told, a lot of times people don't know how to bring it to the table.
Right.
They are afraid. They don't want to start chaos. But really, sometimes it takes a little chaos to get some peace. So,
yeah. All right.
Believe us, we know.
Yeah. Yes, we do. All right. So today's episode is going to be about careers. What does your career look like? How does your career impact your life?
Yeah.
Financially, bringing balance in your marriage. What does that look like? Because here's the thing.
This could be good.
Careers and marriage sometimes don't mix. One of the things that we found when COVID hit and you now have to quarantine, we found, when I tell you our business skyrocketed,
blew up.
Because now husbands and wives have to relearn how to cohabitate with each other.
Yep. One of the biggest things before the quarantine hit was you heard a lot of couples complaining, I don't get to spend time with my spouse. I wish I had more time to spend with my spouse.
Yes.
Well,
you got more time.
And after the quarantine, after about a month of quarantine, you know what we were hearing? Oh my God, I don't know this woman anymore. Oh my God, this guy is unbearable. This is not who I married.
Yes.
This is not who I want to be with. I didn't know this about him. I didn't know this about her.
Yes. And so one of the things that we learned is that prior to COVID, the reason people were unable to spend the time that they wanted to spend with their family is because of their jobs.
Yes.
It was because of their careers. Well, now you're being sent home and you don't got to be in Chicago all the time. Now you're being sent home and you don't have to travel to California all the time.
And now let me say this. At no point in time are we saying that your mindset of being career driven is not a good thing.
Right.
We're not saying that. Your career is how you establish finances for your family. So we're not saying that at all. What we're saying is there has to be more balance. That's what we're getting at. So I want to make sure we're clear on people with the career mindset. My wife, career mindset, business mindset. So was I. But what do you do when your career is making it incapable of your marriage growing? What do you do? See, this is the thing. We were placed in a situation where I literally left the military when I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I did not want to leave the military. But it was the best decision for my family. Hence, I never realized that the military had really become my identity. And a lot of you all are allowing your business and your career to be your identity. And you feel as if you don't have this career or this image to uphold, you lose who you are. So far from the truth.
So far from the truth.
So far from the truth.
And then a lot of people are even looking at it that if my business doesn't succeed or if I don't succeed in my career, then, my marriage is not going to work, or I don't have to work on my marriage as long as my career is going well. You are so mistaken on that.
Yeah.
So mistaken. What is the priority? See, we're not telling you, like Joaquin said, that your career means nothing, because that's the financial backbone of your life, of your family, of your marriage. But there comes a time when your career has to take a back seat to your marriage. Your marriage has to be put on the passenger seat, or it's got to be in the driver's seat, and you got to become one with that thing called marriage, and put that career somewhere else.
Because the truth of the matter is, if we both live a long life the way we planned on, and God allows us to see that, our marriage is going to outlast our careers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because after your career is over, what do you have to fall back on? Mm-hmm. Look, man, I love the military. I love my years in there. Almost 14 years of serving this country. 4 tours. I gave what I gave. I gave what I gave. I've proven that I was willing to make the sacrifices, being away from my family, being away from home, going on the road all the time, not missing holidays, missing birthdays, missing, anniversaries. Mm-hmm. What else do I have to prove? What else? So my question to you would be, what else do you have to prove?
Yep.
And a lot of times, the communication between spouse and boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the relationship may be, has to be so open that you all know where you're going. Hey, this is where we want to get to in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. However, if a detour happens, this is where we're going to go.
Right.
This is what I need from you. This is what you have from me.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, we don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And this person feels like, well, and a lot of times people go into a relationship saying, well, if this doesn't work, I'm going to hold this little nest egg just in case. So you're really setting yourself up to be out of the relationship instead of being fully invested. However.
And then you think about the careers that you choose, okay? Prime example, in one of my marriages, okay? I'm just going to say it one of them at this point. I'm just going to say it one of my marriages at this point.
And y'all can see this is a recurring thing.
I talk about my past marriages a whole lot, okay? And I talk about this one a lot. However, in a past marriage, I looked at my career and where I was going in my career, and then I looked at the career my husband chose, okay? My ex-husband at this time. One of my ex-husbands.
Go ahead.
Whichever one
of
them that is, okay? And what happened with, we talk about career and marriage and family and all of these things, and how, these things shuffle around and one could be more important than the other and all of those things. So there was no balance in the career choice and then coming home to the family at the end of the day, okay? My career was, I worked in an air-conditioned building. I sat down for most of the day, okay? So when I got home, my husband felt like I should cook, I should clean, I should fold up clothes, I should get the kids' homework done, and all of those things after working an 8 to 10 hour day, okay? His career choice was digging ditches, being outside, working in the elements, okay? So when he came home, he felt like, I can sit up and play the PlayStation, or I can just lay up in bed and eat peanuts and do nothing but watch TV. And when I bought it, when I bought the conversation up, there has to be some balance. If you make it home before me, or if you get off before me, can you go pick up the kids from daycare? Can you go and, get them started on homework and everything, so that when I get home, whatever else I have to do, there was no balance. And the whole complaint was, well, you're working air conditioning all day. Well, sir, you chose to dig ditches. I didn't choose that job for you. I mean, I'm like, come on. I can't. So we can't sit here and say, well, you have the better job because you work in air conditioning, and I have a horrible job because I work outside. You chose that. I mean, I could have put in some applications for you somewhere else. I mean, what? So don't do that to make No, because I can guarantee you that at least 10 people watching this right now have been through that mess. But don't sit up here and try to compare our jobs. Apples to goddamn oranges. They grow 2 totally different trees. Don't do that. Don't do that. We still have a responsibility when we get home to take care of our family.
Yeah, now that's facts.
And here's my thing. I am the type of person that if I voice that I am concerned or I have an issue with something, I expect for my significant other, my spouse, or whatever, to acknowledge that and start changing some of the behaviors. Because if my husband comes to me and says, I have a problem with this, I am going to start corrective measures. I expect the same thing.
That's the thing. And this is the thing. If you don't know how to put into action what that person is asking you, get the help you need. Mm-hmm. Sit down and have those conversations. And do it in a timely manner in which we both are even keel and not up here. You have to be mature about these things. That's why it's good to have a mediator. Because if someone asks you to do to change some things and this is an issue, one that the person they're speaking at or speaking to comes back and says, well, I don't understand what that means. It's simple in your head, but it doesn't make sense to them. So that's not a time for you to go at them and belittle them in a manner of, how don't you know what that is? I thought you were. No, they're bringing their real issues to the table. Mm-hmm. That's why it's so good to, man, we've been getting counseling now for 13 of our 14 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And guess what? We not stopping.
Yep.
Because I need help with me. Not even her yet. I need help with me.
Yeah, because your career can be a very, very soft spot in your marriage.
And
go ahead.
I'm sorry. And your career can be your safe place.
What do you mean can be your safe place?
I'd rather be at work because I get the attaboys and the kudos at work. And when I get home, all I get is this, because we're not working on what needs to be worked on.
I was about to say, because you ain't doing nothing when you get home to get the attaboy. Attaboy. I ain't gonna get no attaboy when you sitting in there playing PlayStation. After you get home and we got kids. Same
about you.
That don't sit well with me, y'all. I'm sorry.
Let me bring this thing around to. It's not about you.
It's in general.
We're speaking in general. But no, seriously. If I'm busting my behind at work or she's busting her behind at work and she comes home to me not even acknowledging, hey, how was your day? Thank you for working so hard. Thank you for this. If I'm never getting that and she's not explaining to me why that's important to her, what do you think she's going to put first? Her career. Because that's what she's worked hard even prior to marrying me or being with me. That's what she had on her mind, had on her agenda. So it has to be balanced to that. Your career, when you get married, you have to understand and tell that person what the career means to you. What it means to you and what do you need from them in order to make your career work with the marriage.
Okay. You got something else to say? I want to chime in here.
Please chime in. I don't want you to forget.
Okay. So what if the spouse does that? The spouse comes home. Joaquin has had a long day at work. Okay. And I know he's tired. And I know he's had to deal with people all day. Okay. And my normal routine when you come home is to say, baby, how was work today? Mm-hmm. You know, any pressure on you? You know, anything that you want to talk through with me about the job, okay? And you just start going and going and going and going. And we're 20, 45 minutes to an hour into this conversation. And all you have talked about is your job. And you've never said, well, baby, how was your day?
That has to be brought to the table. That has to be brought to that person's attention. Once again, that's why it's good for a mediator to be there. Because if I'm doing that, and I haven't done that, y'all, just let y'all know.
Right. I'm just using him as an example.
If I'm doing that and I'm going, I haven't even acknowledged the fact that this woman has a career as well. If she complains about what I just did, my first mind is, you asked me what was going on. But see, this is the thing. They don't see that we're setting up what our family needs to look like. Babe, how was your day? That's why communication is very important. How was your day? If I let my wife know prior to me getting home, I had a really rough day. Do you want to talk about it? Yeah, I would love to talk about when I get home. She needs to let me know what's the proper timing for that.
Rub my feet while you talking.
Boom.
Or I could be sitting in the tub while you talking to me. And once I get out of the tub, the conversation is over.
Yes, because there are priorities to this.
Yeah.
If we have kids, my day and my troubles at my job are not first to when I get home and I have to spend time with the kids and spend time with the wife. Mm-hmm. Because I need to make sure we are good, because until I talk about this or get it out, what's going to be happening at work is still going to be there tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Let me come in and focus. And these are things we had to work on. People, these are things, we're not telling you nothing we have not worked on and worked through. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is another thing. If both people are career driven, somebody need to be saying, hey, are you cooking tonight? I don't feel like cooking tonight. Cool, order out.
Yep.
It shouldn't be a point we both get home and it's like, well, you haven't cooked? Well, I thought you were cooking. And now we're frustrated because there was no communication.
There was no communication there.
Yep. But once again, you know what we said? I bet you wouldn't get to your job and not have this done. Mm-hmm. I bet you would check in with your boss or this person before you did this, but you won't check. Look, this is the thing. People at my jobs, my wife would tell you, people at my jobs knew where I stood with my marriage. Once I got the help that I needed, and once I started being consistent and saw how we were growing in our marriage. Mm-hmm. I don't care if we're getting ready to go into a 911 meeting. Let me call my wife, let them know I'm be late. We need you here, Lord. Let me call my wife. And after a while, you know what they would say? Hey, man, we need to have an emergency meeting real fast. Hey, look, make sure your wife knows. Because I've established who's my priority. Mm-hmm. Period.
And you have to do that in your career. Let me tell y'all something. A lot of these business executives, they have families too, just like you do. Yes. And did they have to work their butts off? Some of them did. To get to where they are.
Yeah.
Some of them did not.
Some of them did not.
Okay? But they still know that family exist. And so you can't be this do boy or this do girl that caters to your job, but you do not cater to your family. Yeah. You do not cater to your marriage. You do not cater to your spouse. Yeah. Because when your spouse sees that you handle your career a lot more gentler than you handle her or your kids, and you allow the frustration that you bring home from your job to impact how you communicate with them and how you treat them, that you got a problem.
Yeah. Now let's bring a little balance to this. If I marry a lawyer, I have to expect long hours. Mm-hmm. My wife used to be in the food industry.
I used to be in hospitality.
Hospitality in the food industry. There was the hours she worked fluctuated. Mm-hmm. From here to there. Some went longer than others. Holiday seasons were very... I understood this. Was it frustrating? Yes, but I understood the business she was in. However, it did not stop us from making sure we spent the time that we need to spend together once we got there. And guess what? It's not always going to be peaches and cream. What I mean by that, I may be expecting to spend 6 hours with my wife, and she has to work 4 hours overtime. Now I only get 2 hours with her, and now we have to be with the kids. That's part of life.
Yes.
I might miss a couple kids' practices. Is that my norm? Am I consistent on that? Mm-hmm. There has to be grace given in there as well. When it comes to people in their careers we're truly working towards some things, and we know we can overcome some stuff.
Yes. And here's the thing, like Joaquin said, you guys have to have those conversations about it. So let's look at hospitality for a second. Hospitality, we know that Q3 and Q4 are going to be extremely busy for us.
Yes.
Okay? Like, we know that. We know. So when am I taking my vacation? I'm going to usually take my vacation between Q1 and Q2. Yeah. Okay? Because I got the summer months where everybody is traveling anyway. I got time to spend with my husband, okay? And even the beginning of Q3 can be a little bit, flexible.
Yeah.
But end of Q3, going into Q4, oh, baby, it is drive time in hospitality.
Yep.
But you know what? In pharmaceuticals, it's totally
different.
Opposite. It's totally opposite. Q3 and Q4,
Relax.
you can kind of glide through Q3 or Q4 because sometimes you've already met your yearly mark. Your commissions are rolling in, your salary is set. It's like Q4, I'm taking off probably half of the last 3 months of the year.
Yeah. She did.
In pharmaceuticals, because I don't have to work so hard. I can spend time with my family around the holidays. There is a work-life balance that is there. But there's also a work-life balance in hospitality as well, in that industry. But you have to know when, and you have to be able to communicate with your spouse about what that looks like in your industry.
Yes.
Because all industries are different.
For instance, if you are a firefighter, cop, military personnel, EMT, nurse, doctor, stuff like that.
You probably don't.
You don't know.
You don't really know.
My thing is, when I was in the military, hey, I'm only supposed to be gone these certain months. Well, all of a sudden, there's training. Oh, pop-up training come on, pop-up mission comes. Now, I'm gone 2 weeks out of the month. Every month. My wife didn't sign, she was like, I didn't sign up for this. I'm like, you knew I was in the military, but I didn't sign up for this.
I knew you were in the military, but baby, I am not a military wife.
Yep.
My hat goes off to those military wives. Y'all serve just as much as y'all husbands.
Yes.
Or wives. Kid you not. Or wives.
Yes.
Y'all serve just as much.
Yes. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to tell you how career-driven people are. And let me speak for me. When I even debated getting out of the military, the first thing I thought? It wasn't, I'm going to be able to spend more time with my family. I'm going to be able to spend more time with my wife. You know what I thought? Because I've been ingrained in what I want to do. Man, what are my people going to do? What are my soldiers going to do? I'm not going to be there for them. When a lot of the industries that you all work in, 98% of them, you are replaceable. You are replaceable. Most people are saying right now in their head, or they maybe even thought it or said it out loud. You replaceable in a marriage too.
Yep.
You may have said that. But this is the thing. Which one is going to give you the longevity and stuff that you're really looking for? Because I can find another career. I can make another career. You can find another spouse, but why find another spouse when you have exactly what you want?
What you want and what you need right there.
Most people careers, you complain 75% of the time about your job. That's what a lot of spouses get tired of hearing.
Yes.
A lot of spouses get tired of hearing you come home and complain about a job that you put so much effort into.
Yep.
And we just talked to a friend of ours earlier this evening, and they said, man, I took another position, another job, and I took less money to have better peace. But most time, most people think if I'm losing money, I'm not doing better. Nah. Yeah. If I'm gaining peace.
Okay. All money is not good money. And you have to know the difference, man. And here's another thing when we're talking about careers and marriage. You've got to check the temperature of your spouse when it comes to your career.
And you might want to do that prior to you getting married.
Prior to you getting married, but you also throughout the marriage need to check the temperature of your spouse when it comes to your marriage. And you need to check your temperature when it comes to your spouse's marriage. Because what your reality is when it comes to your career may not be your spouse's reality when it comes to your career.
Yeah. And if you're not painting the picture or laying out the plan into which you're going in your career, how does your spouse know where we're going as a family?
What are we working toward? Like, what does that promotion look like on your job? Why are you even at this job? Why did you choose this career? And is there something better that you could be doing? Is there something better you want to do? Like, what is that career goal that you're working toward? And then from the financial aspect of it too. Man, y'all got to have that conversation on whether or not this is the industry or the job or the career that you even need to be in from a financial standpoint.
Yeah. A lot of people hold on to certain jobs because they've been there so long. And really, in reality, there's better potential for you financially sitting right outside of the door if you would just walk off that job and step into your purpose. Are you and your wife or you and your husband building something together? If we put all our eggs in the basket and really work this thing we're building together, we could be better financially established even without my job. Some people, one thing the pandemic showed us is that a lot of the things that we think we need, we don't need.
We don't need it.
A lot of the jobs that we think we have and we rely on, we don't need them. There have been more self-sufficient entrepreneurs built in this last little hiatus we had than people have probably been entrepreneurs in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And those are facts.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you afraid of? Mm-hmm. Or better yet, with your career, what does your career look like to you? If you had to paint a picture of your career, what does it look like in the next 10 years? And if all you see is your job, that may be a problem.
What should they see over the next 10 years?
It depends on your position. If you're single, it can be your career. It can be your career because that's.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about relationships. I'm sorry. My bad.
If you're in a relationship, this needs to be the first thing you see. That needs to be the first picture you paint. This in your family. Because this is what you're building. Even as you're working, this is truly what you're building. It is. Do you agree? Mm-hmm. This is what I'm building. Even when I'm at work, I'm really working at the company, but I'm working for this. Because I'm building our family. Mm-hmm. And if people would look at it more for that, instead of I'm building this company. No, I'm working at this company to build my family. Mm-hmm. And if this company starts getting in the way of me building my family, maybe it's time for me to look for another company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a more family-friendly company. Okay, so we definitely have to look at that. So we definitely wanted to bring, the conversation about careers. How does your spouse see your career? Ask them. Like, seriously, ask them. Say, baby, what's the temperature of my career to you? And if they say, well, babe, what do you mean? Like, how do you see my career? Do you see my career as a healthy career that brings balance, that provides that work-life balance for our family? Do you feel neglected based on my career? Or do I put my career before you all, before the kids, and all of those type of things? Truly. Or, baby, what concerns do you have about me working the way that I work, or where I work, or what I do to provide for our home? Like, are there any concerns that you have? So those are the type of questions that you and your spouse should be having conversations about when it comes to your career.
Yeah. And we're not sitting here telling you to quit your job because your spouse doesn't like it.
Right.
What we're saying is balance. Once again, I'm going to come back to balance. Mm-hmm. If you have a very demanding job, if you can, well, baby, this is how Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 normally goes. Mm-hmm. We're going to bring balance in Q1 to Q2 and Q3. And I promise you, as much as I can, Q4, we're going to spend at least two or three vacation spots as the family together. You have to start making these provisions for the family. Not saying that, well, I just don't know. You know what my job entails. I do know what your job entails, but I know what we made vows to do as well. Mm-hmm. I know what promises we made as well. I know we had kids, and these kids deserve our time as well.
As well.
And here's the thing. If we're working our behind off to build something, and I work a certain way, this may not be the year we go to Greece. This may not be the year we go to Hawaii. Mm-hmm. But this can be the year we take a trip to Florida. Mm-hmm. Niagara Falls, Canada, New York, or something like that. And we just get away and spend time together.
Right. Yeah.
And we're building something. Now, we get a little bit more established in the next few years, and I have more equity in this particular company I'm still with, and I've shown that I bring balance to the family. Yeah, we can take that 2 or 3 week vacation. But for the most part, it has to be balanced with your family.
Yeah.
And once again, if you are having issues in your workplace, please don't bring all your issues home to your wife.
Or to your husband.
Or to your husband.
Right.
Find that mentor. Find that mentor. Find that coach and that counselor that you can vent to and get it out. Mm-hmm. Pay them for that. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Because what you don't want to do is your wife or your husband disconnect from you because all you talk about
is your career, is your job.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, it's negative.
Yeah.
It's nothing positive.
Yeah. And if you meet this woman or man and they're already 12, 15 years into their career, you probably got to deal with that.
You're going to have to, there are some things that you're going to have to deal with until you guys work together to change what that looks like.
And it's the thing, you have to go in openly saying, hey, well, I know this is the way you've lived your, and you have to be real with this. Yes. I know this is the way you've lived your life, but this is what I expect from us. I'm not telling you it's a deal breaker, but I'm telling you I would like to work on this right here, what we see as potentially our family becoming, or our marriage becoming, or this relationship becoming. We can work on this toward this.
Yes, and kind of changing the verbiage of how Joaquin just worded that. Instead, this is how I expect. Because then, remember, verbiage is everything.
Everything.
Okay, verbiage is everything, because that might be very aggressive to your significant other. So rewording that to say, baby, I know you've been in this career for 15 years. Can we kind of look at how we can shift some of that around a little bit to kind of cater toward the family or cater toward the marriage, yes. Cater to us building each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is so amazing how she corrected my verbiage. But let me ask one question. How would you have stated yours?
I would have stated mine just the way that I just told them to state it.
Now? I'm talking about then. Back then.
No, I think I would have. No, seriously. I wouldn't have told someone who was established in their career for 15, 20 years. I expect. No. I mean, because I know, remember, I teach people how to do this. Mm-hmm. So I would never tell them to use the word expect, because automatically that's a defense mechanism.
Well, she doesn't remember some of the conversation we had 12, 13 years ago, because I was expected to do. But anyway.
What were you expected to do?
Nothing.
Were you expected to be at home in an hour and 30 minutes because a hot meal was on the table?
No, I'm talking about the military.
Military. What did I tell you about the military as far as expecting?
I expected you to be home more than this. I didn't expect you to be overseas that much.
I didn't say that I didn't expect it.
Yes you did, y'all. We can agree to disagree.
We sure can. We can agree to disagree, baby. You say I said it. I say I didn't. I didn't use expect. Whatever. See? Y'all see how that conversation about careers can be kind of chaotic and hostile. You just saw it. Mm-hmm.
Hey, choose your careers very wisely. Mm-hmm. But it's the thing, especially if your spouse can have a say-so in, what you do. This is the thing. Your one career is not the only thing you can do.
Right. It's not.
Period. I hated one of my jobs so bad that my wife wrote my 2-week notice up for me and had it wait for me when I got home one time.
Yep. All right. A heck of a resignation letter.
Yeah. If you ever need us, email us. No, but seriously, those are truly conversations that significant others need to have very early on, during the marriage, during the relationship, and on so forth and so on.
Yeah.
This is not a one-time conversation. This is something that we need to meet with either monthly or quarterly, in my opinion.
Yep. So.
And be real with it. Be realistic with it. Understand there's sacrifice that goes into every career, mm-hmm. and their expectations.
Yeah, they are. But you got to have that conversation about what your career looks like to your spouse. And be real. What does your career look like to you? Is there something lacking when it comes to family, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to the household? Is there something missing? And could there possibly be something that could change to help your career, to help you bring balance to career and family?
Yeah.
Okay?
I even have one. Think about this. Think about if your husband or wife makes enough money that they ask you, hey, won't you be a stay-home mom? I'd rather you stay at home with the kids. Hey, I make enough money. I'd rather my husband stay home and chase another dream. Mm-hmm. or chase another career? What do? Are you so vested in your career and what that career means to you that you like, well, no, I just keep working? What do you do? Those are things that we deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So, what does your career look like and what does it mean to you? Is your career your identity? Or is your family your identity?
Yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed the topic. I hope that you were able to get something out of it, whether you are dealing with it or you might have a friend or someone that may be walking through this type of situation. Please forward this and share it. At the bottom of the screen, you will see our website if you want to find out more about who we are, what we do, and how you can get connected to us or with us. Please go to www.blendedandwinning.com. Okay? www.blendedandwinning.com. We look forward to hearing from you. If you have any topics that you would like to see covered on Bring It to the Table, or any questions that you have for us that you would like to hear about on Bring It to the Table, please shoot us an email. Our email address is on our website. So, again, thank you for joining us for Bring It to the Table. We hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Peace.